So, how do you think the Democrats responded to the detention of Mahmoud Khalil? Well, here's a statement from Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries issues a statement on Mahmoud Khalil. Let's read it in its entirety. It's very, very short, as you would expect. Leader Jeffries' statement on ICE arrest at Columbia University. Mahmoud Khalil is a legal permanent resident whose wife, an American citizen, is 8 months pregnant. To the extent his actions were inconsistent with Columbia University policy and created an unacceptable hostile academic environment for Jewish students and others, there is a serious university disciplinary process that can handle the matter. In the context of the arrest and detention of Mahmoud Khalil, DHS must produce facts and evidence of criminal activity. Absent evidence of a crime, such as providing material support for a terrorist organization, the actions undertaken by the Trump administration are wildly inconsistent with the United States Constitution. A judge has blocked this egregious removal pending further action, and along with Attorney General Letitia James, we will continue monitoring this developing situation closely. Another daily reminder to fire Hakeem Jeffries, says Winters Politics. The Liberation Project, wow, how did he have the balls to put out that courageous statement, the first half of which is trashing the guy, right? And just completely parroting the narrative that he was somehow out of bounds for protesting Israel. Wildly inconsistent is an interesting way of saying setting the Constitution on fire. Luca, this message was sponsored and approved by AIPAC. And don't forget, Hakeem Jeffries, a top recipient of AIPAC, $1,635,617. His district has a very large Orthodox Jewish population, and he is one of the most pro-Israel Democrats in the caucus. So it's not really a surprise that he would be really weak on this. Although I got to say, Hakeem Jeffries is getting more shit than like Pelosi ever got, or even Schumer ever got. Like, there's more outrage at him from the base because they're very frustrated because they just see how weak and ineffectual he is. But certainly there are more Democrats willing to stand up, right? Well, 14 of them. Yes, that's right. 14 out of 214 Democrats in the House signed this strongly worded letter. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib tweets out, "I'm joining 13 of my colleagues to demand that the Trump administration immediately releases Mahmoud Khalil. Their illegal actions set a dangerous precedent. We cannot allow them to shred our constitutional rights to free speech and due process. Free Mahmoud Khalil." So here they are. Those are the signatures of all of them. The font is very small. It's who you would expect, more or less. But 14? 14 out of 214, fewer than 10% of House Democrats would sign on to this letter. That's
the resistance, folks. The resistance stepping up to the plate.
Yep. That's your opposition right there. And, this is why I said, I have seen more frustration expressed with Hakeem Jeffries than party leaders in the past. He's not really getting the mama bear moment, because that moment that he had went so viral of him saying, well, it's their government now. What are we going to do? But even if it wasn't the Republicans' government, there are only 14 Democrats willing to sign a letter that demands the release of a man who is charged with no crime. He's charged with no crime, and he's sitting in a migrant jail in Louisiana, and only 14 members of the 214-member caucus in the opposition party will sign a letter saying he shouldn't be kept in jail with no charge? Yep.
Well, Nancy Pelosi was there for the Obama administration, which the libs see as a high watermark, as a triumph, whatever the reality. That's how they see it, so they associate her with that. So by the time you got into the Trump era, she was well positioned to place herself as a resistance leader. And that also coincided with kind of like peak girl boss feminism, which she was very good at playing to. And she was very good at the kind of empty gestures that libs eat up, like clapping sarcastically at the State of the Union, which Jeffries doesn't seem to have as much skill with.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
she was good at signaling to the Dem base.
Yeah, that she was. That she was. So she kind of skated on that. But these are much more severe times. And you see, I mean, how pathetic is it? Only 14 of 214 House members?
Yeah. Well, that's why we're not Democrats.
Yep. That's the uniparty. That's the uniparty in action. I mean, can't do much worse than 14. Only 13 numbers smaller than 14, and it's a 214 member caucus. So that's your opposition, because there is no real opposition to Israel in Washington, as we know.
Please clap.